Part 2 Raising Children. Chapter 7 Raising Children. Our increasingly globalized world is more interconnected with every passing day. Changes that occur on the other side of the world often have immediate effects on us locally in a variety of ways: social, economic, political, culture, linguistic, and even medical. Surprisingly, even with the large forces of global change at hand, it is the knowledge, ability, and compassion of parents who raise intelligent and moral children that have the biggest impact on the local and global world today. Learning the time-tested proper methods to raise children is a vital task for all parents. A child who is smart but weak will probably not be successful with their personal goals, just as a child who is strong but not smart will not succeed either. A child must usually triumph in both areas in order to be personally successful. In some families, parents have intelligent children, but parents simply do not know anything about how to raise them to be strong, savvy, independent, and moral. As a result, children are more likely to cause trouble for themselves and for others. Then the parents are puzzled over what went wrong with their parenting. In order for children to be smart, strong, and virtuous, parent must have available parenting resources, acquired knowledge, and adequate time to raise and teach their children how to be solid members of society. Since families interpret and implement their own parenting styles differently, there are essentially 4 types of families existing in the world today. 1. A family that has time but no knowledge. 2. A family that has knowledge but no time. 3. A family that has no knowledge nor time. 4. A family that has both knowledge and time. In the first 3 types of families, children receive very little moral training. Some children are born into wealthy families and have every material possession that they want, yet they can receive little parental supervision. That's group 2. These children have a high chance of becoming misled. Children raised by parents who have both knowledge and time generally receives continuous wisdom and moral training from their parents. Group 4. Even though they may not be wealthy, these children have the ability to develop into successful, wealthy, and moral adults. All parents should consider the following question before having a child: what qualities do we want our child to have? How can we successfully cultivate good habits in our children? In essence, children should have 3 supreme characteristics. 1. Purity, clean, clear, and complete. 2. Wisdom, having great understanding and judgment. 3. Compassion, desire to alleviate the suffering of others, mercy, tenderness, and heart. A child who possesses these qualities, or supreme characteristics, is open to receiving useful knowledge and copying righteous behavior from parents, relatives, role models, teachers, and mentors. Purity, wisdom, and compassion form a platform from which additional characteristics can develop. It is similar to rich and fertile soil that allows plants to develop healthily. We of course must decide for ourselves what characteristics we want to emphasize most in our children. After we consider the character traits that we want to develop in our children, the question becomes, how do I cultivate these traits in my children? Answer: through good habits. It's that simple. As we discussed earlier, habits are developed with repetitive thoughts, speech, and actions. These repetitive activities, in turn, influence our learned behavior and continue development throughout our whole life. If we allow children to repeatedly think, speak, and act unwholesomely, regardless of the scale, then they will become accustomed to behaving selfishly and uncontrollably while developing the bad habit of cultivating bad habits. Chances are that these children will age into individuals who are disinterested in being virtuous, successful, and responsible adults. However, if we teach our children to repeatedly engage in wholesome thought, speech, and activities, then they will become accustomed to doing the right thing until it becomes a habit. Thus, they will learn how to become successful individuals in the future. Generally, habits develop from the way we utilize the 4 requisites: clothing, food, shelter, and medicine. Here are 3 examples to illustrate this point. When we feed our children irregularly, they cry whenever they are hungry and not fed on time. They become easily irritated and scream when they need attention, developing a habit of using violence and aggression to get what they want. It is like we will be raising baby tigers. When we feed our children all the time, even when they're not hungry, they will become obese and dependent on the way food makes them feel. They will develop a habit of sluggishness and indolence. In this case, we will be raising baby pigs. When we feed our children on a schedule, they will develop a habit of punctuality and will become more likely to grow up to be healthy, strong, and easy to care for. In this case, we will be raising sages. To repeat, good and bad habits come from repetition of thinking, speaking, and acting. Parents can instill wholesomeness, intelligence, and compassion by teaching their children respect, discipline, and tolerance with regard to their use of the 4 requisites in their work and daily activities. If we want to raise our children to be wise, then we should first teach them respect. Respect is a sign of one's appreciation towards the true virtue or benefit of a person or object. Wisdom can be divided into worldly wisdom and inner wisdom. Worldly wisdom is wisdom or knowledge acquired through education. It is required to make a living. However, without morality to curb knowledge, children can misuse it. Worldly wisdom, however, must work together with inner wisdom. Inner wisdom or spiritual wisdom is knowing what is right or wrong, good or bad, appropriate or inappropriate. Children gain this knowledge from moral and ethical education. In practice, parents must teach their children to respect and listen to their mental teachings, to learn from their own life experiences, and to study the truth about the ever-changing world and the people in it. In total, inner wisdom is born in the respect of 7 sources. 1. Respect for the wise, enlightened beings. 2. Respect for Dhamma, truth, nature. 3. Respect for those who seek truth. 4. Respect for education. 5. Respect for meditation. 6. Respect for non-recklessness. 7. Respect for hospitality. The more we teach our children to see the virtues of these 7 sources, the more respect they will have for them and the more inner wisdom our children will gain. They will be fortunate indeed if we pass down this wisdom before they themselves get married and raise their own children. Balanced, rational, and level-headed young people have parents who have taught them to have discipline in both their outer and inner lives. Discipline is taught in conjunction with their use of the 4 requisites, work and daily routine. We set examples through our own behavior. There are 4 areas in which we can set beneficial examples of our children. 1. Speech. We can teach our children to cultivate excellent speech by speaking politely, truthfully, and with good intentions ourselves. Lead by example. Speak with general acquaintances, just as we would our friends, relatives, and partners, with respect and patience. Also, we should point out the negative consequences of lying. 2. Time. Teaching our child to be disciplined with time is to teach them to wake up, eat, and sleep on time. Getting up early in the morning is an important habit to be aware of, and will serve our child well both in school and at work. Going to sleep early in the evening is important, because if they go to sleep late, they will not want to get up early. When we wake them up, they will bargain for more sleep, starting their day with an argument. And who wants that? Cleanliness. For our own health, as well as social acceptability, we have to teach our children how to maintain cleanliness, bathing, hair care, dental care, and washing of hands. It should all be done with the utmost care and consideration for the sake of the children, i.e., I want to look nice, as well as others, i.e., they look and smell clean. 4. Organization. Children who lack organizational skills tend to have conflicts when they work with others. They will not be able to follow outlined procedures or prepare and complete their work efficiently, resulting in increased difficulty in achieving success. Initially, it may seem that it is enough for children to be wholesome and smart, but the truth is that it is not. We must first teach them how to take care of themselves. Second, we must teach them how and why to care for others, to achieve the goal of being a compassionate person. Children need to build endurance, kante, We can teach our children to have endurance on 4 levels. Physical hardship. Children need to learn how to work hard without being afraid of physical or mental hardship. 2. Pain and suffering. Children should be aware of the need to care for their own health, though they should never be deceptive nor pretend to be sick in order to get out of going to school. 3. Conflict. Children should learn how to be a team player without feeling superior or inferior to other peers, though they should not consider themselves equals to adults. It is beneficial to understand and appreciate their social role when interacting with others. 4. Stimulants of kilesa, impurities. Our child should be wise enough not to become involved with others who promote alcohol, drugs, sexual misconduct, misuse of money, etc. These stimulants and misdeeds only cause problems. All children really want to be good. You can see it in their face whenever they hear praise from an adult whom they respect. This gives us more fuel to instill proper teachings. Therefore, we must be aware that it is our job, our responsibility to take our children into the best social, educational and physical environments possible. We must set examples for our children, help them find quality friendships, initially choosing great literature and music for them to read and listen to, and provide them with a first-rate education with responsible mentors who can guide them throughout their formative years. Consciously and unconsciously, children will always use their parents as their prime example in life. This said, we'll always need to examine and re-examine our own habits in regard to work, time management, and approach to using the 4 requisites. We will need to ask ourselves if we have the ability to maintain quality, always delivering our best, ability to manage our time, seeing all the steps ahead and following through on them, and stability to manage a budget, planning ahead to yield the highest return. Our children will absorb our best and worst character traits, so be sure that we consistently provide them with the best. They will learn our skills with managing quality, time and financial budgets, seeing and eventually participating in good habits for their parents. The children will effectively complete any assigned project using minimal time and resources, a great asset in any environment. This is how virtue translates into intelligence. It is through the example set by people around them, and that means us. To summarize, we must pass on the proper knowledge, ability and compassion to our children until they develop the intelligence, compassion that will guide them to personal success. Therefore, we must always be aware of new information that will assist us in their upbringing, so that they will understand modern society and the challenges that they will have to face ahead. Additionally, we actively teach them what is moral and ethical in their dealings with friends, relatives, and teachers, mentors. If we can do these things, then our children will be aware of the purities and impurities of their own thoughts, speech, and actions. Awareness spawns correction. After all, when we teach our children how to grow up to be wise and normal, we feel good about contributing to their long-term well-being.